Yo, what's up guys, it's the MMA Analyst here to give you my predictions for UFC 146. As you can see, man, these damn issues with my mic, man, it's killing me. I don't know, man, I gotta get it figured out. Basically, I turn on my computer, I'll plug my mic in and it just won't work. And then, yeah, I got two computers, a Mac and a PC, I'm telling you right now. Starting to understand why people only use Macs, man. These PCs are out of control. Anyways, the Misha Tate interview slash BetMMA radio podcast is now available on YouTube, on iTunes. So check that out. And thanks for everybody who has listened and downloaded. You know, that's why I did the video, you know, or the audio, the podcast, for people to listen to. So if you listen to it, make sure you rank it. Make sure you rate it. You know, more stars, the higher it goes in the rankings or something like that. I don't know how it works. I'm new to all this podcast, iTunes stuff. But anyways, so yeah, there you go. Let's get right down to the fights. All right, skip all the other bull. Junior dos Santos versus Frank Mir. I mean, really, this is simple. Frank Mir has to get the fight to the ground to win. Frank Mir's ability to get fights to the ground has proven to be horrible, and from what Junior dos Santos has shown in the past, he's been able to stuff takedowns or knock people out before they are able to get the takedown. So, yeah, I mean, on the feet, I think if the fight stays on the feet, I think Frank Mir, it's lights out. If he can get it to the ground, that'd be good, just so that we can see what Junior dos Santos is made of. Odds are, if Frank gets it to the ground, then Junior dos Santos is going to be in trouble. But it'd be crazy to see that he's got some kind of Nogueira jiu-jitsu in his back pocket. He does train with Nogueira. You know, it is what it is. He is a brown belt under Nogueira. So, now, Frank Mir is a serious black belt, but anyways. I would like to see some more questions answered with Junior dos Santos. However, I don't think we're going to. I think we're going to get exactly what we think, which is Frank Mir goes out there, tries to get the fight to the ground, is unable to, and gets knocked out in the first round. Man, that's the shortest main event I've ever probably broke down. There's really not much to this one. Yeah, Junior dos Santos first round knockout, unless Frank Mir really pulls off some kind of, you know, some kind of upset. Cain Velasquez versus Antonio Bigfoot Silva. Alright, Cain, it's like this. You've been messing up. Now, even though you've only lost once, remember your fight with Czech Congo? Now, for those who don't remember, he basically came out, stood on the feet, got rocked, dropped, stood back up, won the round. Second round, came out, got rocked, got back up, won the round. Third round, I remember yo man, please, good lord, don't get rocked again. And then I think Czech Congo actually went for a takedown or something stupid like that. But the point is, Cain Velasquez gets rocked when he gets hit. Junior dos Santos rocked him and it was over. He lost that belt in 64 seconds. So, do I think if this fight took place on the feet, Cain Velasquez would lose to Antonio Bigfoot Silva? Probably not. I think his hands are fast enough, accurate enough, and his head movement and all that stuff is good enough to not get knocked out by Antonio Bigfoot Silva. However, if he takes this fight to the ground, he's almost guaranteed to win. Bigfoot Silva does have a pretty decent ground game, black belt jiu-jitsu, you know, so, you know, he's no bum. He's very strong, very big. But I think Cain Velasquez's wrestling ability, defensive jiu-jitsu, you know, on the top will allow him to, you know, rain down some TKOs, some ground and pound, get a TKO stoppage, and yeah, basically, you know, after the tiring out of Antonio Bigfoot Silva, after he gasses, probably, like I said, a second round TKO for Cain Velasquez. Could happen in the first round, just depends on how quickly he gets the fight to the ground and what he does when he gets to the ground. Does he start right away with the strikes, or does he chill back and kind of pull a Josh Barnett, tire you out? in the past he's shown that he basically gets right down to business. So first or second round, TKO by strikes on the ground. All right, ground and pound. Roy Nelson versus Dave Herman. It wasn't too long ago where everybody was talking about Roy Nelson and how he's able to not get tired. He's been getting tired lately. He's also been getting beat up. It's time for him to make some changes. In this fight against Dave Herman, though, Dave Herman also has been getting tired. Against Stefan Struve, he was able to have Struve in trouble all in the first round, and then he just basically came out in the second round dead tired and got finished. And really, I think whoever has the better gas tank in this fight, probably going to win it. Roy Nelson can get it to the ground like he used to. Then he can also use his jiu-jitsu to tire out Herman maybe even faster. And with Pee Wee Herman being all type of crazy with the strikes and kicks and all type of stuff like that, I do think it's possible and likely for Roy Nelson, not Roy Jones, Roy Nelson to get the fight to the ground, and then once he gets the fight to the ground, tire out Dave Herman and probably finish him in the second round by TKO. So I do have Roy Nelson winning this fight. If Pee Wee Herman wins this fight, he's basically going to have to stay on the outside, not be too wild, just basically controlled aggression, and I don't really see him being able to pull that off. Alright, next fight. Stipe Miocic versus Shane Del Rosario. There's two things that I cannot get over in this fight. Number one, Shane Del Rosario was in a car accident, hasn't fought since February 12, 2011. That's kind of one thing. Accident, hasn't fought since. And it's not like he was like, you know, like he was like, I gotta recover, and then once I recover, then I can start training. So it's been a while. Ring rust. Number two, he was mounted by Lavar Johnson. I don't know how that happens, but he was. He ended up beating Lavar Johnson, but he got mounted by Lavar Johnson. Del Rosario, strong power in his hands. Anything can happen in these heavyweight fights. They all have the power to knock you out. Stipe Miocic, you know, better wrestling. You know, Division I wrestling. Now, how much have we seen in the UFC? Not too much. But yeah, I think that we're gonna. I mean, like, against Joy Belcher, and I don't know if that counts. I think in this fight, Stipe Miocic comes out swinging, and Shane Del Rosario does the same. Shane Del Rosario wants to get it to the fight, to the ground. Miocic is able to stuff a few takedown attempts, finish the fight on the feet. Again, I don't see this going past the second round. Stipe Miocic winning this fight by KO in the first round. Maybe I'm crazy. Stefan Struve versus Lavar Johnson. Speaking of being mounted, Lavar Johnson was mounted by Pat Barry. The thing about this fight, which is kind of tough to call, is it's pretty much going to go one of two ways. Lavar Johnson goes across the cage and knocks out Stefan Struve within a minute 20 seconds, or Stefan Struve submits Lavar Johnson. Let me see, how many subs does he average? 15 submissions out of 23 wins. That's a lot. Very tall, long reach, all that good stuff. And then you have Lavar Johnson, who I think has been submitted 4 out of his 5 losses. Yeah, it's just a really rough situation for Lavar Johnson on the ground. If he can get across that cage and put the pressure on Stefan Struve, then Stefan Struve doesn't recover. I think that's the situation. Also, Struve hasn't shown the ability to kind of like get that takedown he needs. He can definitely tie up Lavar Johnson against the cage and try and get a trip takedown against the cage. But in order to do that, he would have to be moving forward at the beginning of the fight. The problem I'm having is deciphering what happens after they link up. So, you know, alright, so here's what happens. So, Lavar Johnson, ding, 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 let's get it on. Alright, so he comes across the cage. Stefan Struve backs up. Lavar Johnson throws a few punches. Now, he either lands these punches, Stefan Struve starts to be like, oh no, I'm being attacked, and then gets knocked out shortly after. Or, at some point after missing these punches or not, then they lock up. Now, at that point, once they lock up, does Stefan Struve turn it around and push Lavar Johnson up against the cage? If he can do that, he takes that fight to the ground and submits him shortly after. Which one is it, folks? I'm talking to you right now, and I'm not sure who I'm going to go with. You know, if you look all through Stefan Struve's career, it's, you know, being in trouble and then winning, or being in trouble and losing. You've got Dave Pee Wee Herman, he was hurt in the first round. Pat Barry, he was in trouble in the first round. Travis Brown, he was in trouble in the first round and lost. Sean McCorkle, I think he just owned him. Man. Junior dos Santos walked across and busted him up in 54 seconds. Is Lavar Johnson going to be able to pull off a Junior dos Santos, or is he going to pull off a Pat Barry / Dave Herman? I'm going to say he will pull... Actually, let me look for a trend here. Damn, there's no trend. I'm going to go Stefan Struve. No. Shoot! Alright. Decision time. I'm not going to edit any of this out. This is the hardest pick I've had in a while, man. I don't know what the deal is. Lavar Johnson knocks him out. That's my pick. And you can see how confident I am about it. Alright, on the other card, Diego Brandao defeats Darren Elkins. Edson Barboza over Jamie Varner. Jason Mayhem Miller over CB Dollaway. Dwayne Bang Ludwig over Dan Hardy. Mike Brown over Daniel Pineda. Dang, Glover Teixeira or Kyle Kingsbury. I'll go back to that. I'm going to think that Paul Sass is not able to do what he's been able to do when he finally faces somebody as good on the ground as Jacob Volkman. So I'm going to go with Paul Sass losing to Jacob Volkman via decision. And then Kyle Kingsbury's issue is his ground game. Glover Teixeira, I mean, he's got a nice record, but if you really look at it, exactly who he's beating and what's going on, there's nothing really to write home about. If the fight stays on the feet, he can go anyway. If Teixeira wants to win this fight, he will pay attention to the fact that Kyle Kingsbury got basically owned on the ground by Stefan Bonner. Alright, let's go with that. Glover Teixeira over Kyle Kingsbury. So there you go. Those are my picks. MMA, it's important. Peace.